Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Diversion Authority Finance Committee meeting for May 22nd, 2024. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mayor Carlson.
Here.
Ms. Thompson.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Redlinger.
Here.
Mr. Grimberg. Mr. Pepcorn. Mr. Peterson. Mr. Reeds.
Here.
Ms. Madriga.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you, Don. Item number 2 is to approve the minutes of April 24th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion and a second to, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve the order of the agenda. It has been presented to you and in your packets.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second, please? I have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 4, we call on the Finance Director for the City of Fargo, Susan Thompson, for the approval of bills.
On page 6 is the bills to be approved for the month of May. There's about 8 of them, total of $4.7 million. The large one at the top is primarily 2 flowage easements through the Cass County Joint Water Resource District.
Are there any questions, Mrs. Thompson?
Move for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Aye.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Reeds.
Yes.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
And that's everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 5 is a finance report. Again, we go to Susan Thompson, Finance Director.
Okay, page 18 is the historic summary of revenues and expenditures. And then page 19 is the net position. So for cash, we have $237,547,953. That includes both the diversion project fund and the budget fund. And the liabilities, this meeting moved a little too fast. I'm waiting for a response. I do not know what that negative vouchers payable is. I suspect it has to do with the timing issue, but I'll look into that and get back to you all next month. So negative liabilities of $6,157,099. So the net position is $243,698,752.
Thank you. Committee members, any questions regarding the finance report? A motion, please. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Sorry, Don, that was me. Move to approve.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Reddinger, seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the finance report. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 6 is the cash budget report. It's on page 44 of your packet. We call on Mr. Paul Barthel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, nothing out of the ordinary in this report in our cash budget. You see reporting in at $4.9 million worth of revenue for a year to date of $28 million, right on track. Again, keep in mind that the sales tax does lag by a couple months. If you also notice there too, and we'll get to this in a little bit, but we have not requested any of our legacy bond draws or SRF draws. We have not received that. We have just requested those reimbursements within the last month for this year. So we should be seeing some dollars coming in from that. So next page. Our overall level 1 summary, again, largest expenses has been in lands, much like your previous financial report, reimbursement for lands, and then also we're looking at a lot of third-party mitigation costs that are coming in. Those are utilities, those are work on the Christine levy, those are some other MOU requirements that we are paying for through that. So To date, we've spent a little over 38 million, and so fiscal year remaining, we're looking at about $178 million left in our cash budget for this year. So,
Could you, on line item number 2, milestone payments to the developer,
yes.
what type of payment has that been?
As a milestone payment to the developer, those are laid out within our P3 contract within there. And once a project reaches interim substantial completion, a portion of the diversion channel reaches that substantial completion, then the developer can apply for a milestone payment. And so while they are continuing on and coming close to completion on several sections of the channel, they have not hit that point yet, and so we have not seen any requests from the developer for any milestone payments. That's why it's at 0.
Very good. Thank you.
And then last page. Operations, authority operations. Again, cost to date, we're looking at just over $500,000 to date. And then so the remaining budget is still well within the $1.65 million. So we are tracking very well on that budget also.
Very good.
Any questions?
Any questions? Anyone?
Thank you.
Thank you. Paul's report is for information only, so we'll move on to item number 7, is the DA Board approval contracting actions. Again, we'll call on Paul.
Thank you.
Attachment is at page 51.
We have 2 actions for your consideration today. The first order is a task order amendment, task order 16, amendment 0. And that is with Cass County Electric. This is the initiation of some of the work in the upstream mitigation area associated with the Oxbow substation and the relocation from that. This is to get some power lines out of the way for the OHB levee that is being built on the north side of Oxbow. So this is the removal of the overhead lines and replacing them with about 2 miles of underground power lines at that location for about $556,000. Would you like explanation or consider them both at one time? I can continue on.
Please
Okay,
do.
thank you. The second one is a change order for our work package 47C, which is working with Cass Rural Water off of County Road 16, just south of the southern embankment. There we are drilling test holes and wells to help mitigate that plant that is down there. The original estimate, we've completed the test holes and test wells, and the original estimate was estimated the casing to a certain depth. With these test holes, we've realized that we actually need to go a little deeper. And so this change order is to cover that additional cost for the deeper wells, deeper than anticipated in the original estimate. And so it's because of the additional depth, we also have to go to a thicker casing material, which also adds some additional costs. So this is just to cover the cost of that additional material and additional depth.
Thank you.
Move to approve both task orders.
Is there any questions for Paul first? I realize we have a motion, but is there any questions? We have a motion by Mayor Mahoney, and we have a second by Commissioner Grinberg. Is there any further discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Reitz.
Yes.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 8 is other business. We have 3, A, B, and C. Paul, would you please take those?
I would gladly take A, but I would defer B and C to Jody Smith for item B and John Shockley for item C. So item A is work package 52A is a graveling resurfacing around various areas around Pleasant Township and Stanley Township. These areas are going to be impacted significantly by the core work, and so the authority put out for bid to provide gravel and to resurface some of the roadways in anticipation of additional traffic on those roadways. We received 3 bids. The lowest bid was by Industrial Builders for $479,655. Engineer's estimate was $459,000, so the IBI's bid was just over 4% above, which does fall within our contingency amount that was included in the budget for this. So it is within budget. So our recommendation is to approve and award the contract to Industrial Builders for the amount of $479,000, $479,655,000.
So does the Finance Committee want to continue on? Do we want to take each of these items separately? What's your pleasure?
Probably a little different, each one of them, so move to approve.
Okay,
I would agree second.
I'm sorry.
I would agree with taking them separately, and then I seconded Mayor Mahoney's
All right,
motion.
item number 1 then, WP 52A, bid award for $479,655. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
There is a second. Motion and a second. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Reeds.
Yes.
Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you. Item B is a land budget reallocation. Again, we call on Jody Smith.
Yes. So on this first page, you can see where our current budget is. And after some significant closures and property acquisitions, we decided to reevaluate where the lands budget was at. On the next slide, Peggy, go to the next one. You can see where the adjustments were at. Anything that is yellow, we adjusted upwards. Anything that's green, we adjusted downwards. So starting at the top, the diversion channel and associated infrastructure. If those of you who participate in the MFDA board meetings, you'll note the map that's typically up there. We only have 1 property owner that we have left to acquire. We have reached a settlement with them. We're just waiting for legal to work through closings with their legal counsel. The $1.5 million that will remain in this line item is sufficient to meet the needs of that closure. So hopefully we can close this year. I know legal's been working on that for about 1.5 years now, and there's some complexities with some easements, but we're feeling fairly positive about that. The next line item down then is the Southern Embankment and associated infrastructure. We are going to adjust this up approximately $15.5 million. This was anticipated. We recognized this some time ago that we were going to need to pull some of the funds from the diversion channel down to the Southern Embankment line. A lot of those adjustments were coming in on SE2B, SE3, SE4, and 5. When the original budget was made, the inflation and the rise in cost of property was accounted for, but not quite enough. Again, we had plenty of funds up in the diversion channel to pull that down. When we look down at the mitigation associated infrastructure, we're just going to increase this to approximately $1.8 million. We just have a couple more properties to close. Again, we've already settled with them. We're just waiting for that closure to happen, and I'm anticipating that closure will happen in the next 30 days. So by the end of July, we should be able to come back, reevaluate this, and if we need to make some additional shifts, we can. And then the remaining funds were put down in the work package 38, which is our UMA area. We are increasing this by $22 million. I do anticipate that we will need all of the $22 million to meet the full land acquisitions. Overall, we're not adjusting the lands budget. We'll just be kind of shifting some of the funds between the line items. So open any questions that you might have.
Questions, anyone?
So you're saying you're making these adjustments, but we're still within budget?
That is correct, Mayor.
And will I have any money left from budget?
No, sir.
Sorry.
Don't be that optimistic. Yeah,
Do
$8.
Recreational, but I guess
Yeah.
I'll have to wait on that.
Not enough for a Starbucks,
Are
so.
there any less annoying questions?
Excuse me. Had a little frog in my throat.
Thank you.
Again, we're going to take these separately, so what's your pleasure?
Great work. Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Mayor Mahoney moves. Commissioner Grinberg seconds. Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Aye.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
yes,
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Reitz.
Yes.
Ms. Madrigal.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item C is a resolution related to the automatic issuance and exchange of temporary authority loan improvement warrants. Mr. Shockley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Finance Committee. This is a matter in which relates to the overall project financing. You may recall that 3 years ago when we issued the WIFIA loan as part of the WIFIA loan security, WIFIA required that they essentially be the senior lender, which meant they wanted to have not only a share of the sales and use tax revenue, but they also wanted a portion of the assessment district essentially carved out for them. And so as part of that negotiations, we carved out $90 million, and that amount comes from a percentage of the WIFIA loan along with the SRF loans that were issued. And the SRF loans are what we refer to in the finance industry as on parity, meaning that they're equal to the WIFIA loan because of the state programs and the WIFIA programs. They kind of argue which one should be superior to the other, and so they decided they should be on parity. 3 years ago, we issued temporary warrants for the authority loan portion of it. 3 years has since transpired. Under North Dakota law, the maturity of temporary warrants is a maximum of 3 years. And so the resolution that was approved by approving the WIFIA loan by the Cass County Joint Water Resource District included a provision that would automatically renew the temporary authority loan warrants. And so this is just consenting to the Cass County Joint Board renewing those temporary improvement warrants. In 3 years, fingers crossed that we reach substantial completion, you'll be converting these into definitive improvement warrants. So can answer any questions, but.
Questions for Mr. Shockley? No. Thank you.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Peterson. Been moved and seconded to approve the resolution related to the automatic issuance and exchange of temporary authority loan improvement warrants. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Mayor Carlson.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
yes,
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Grimberg.
Aye.
Mr. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Reitz.
Yes.
Ms. Madrigal.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Does any member from the Finance Committee have any non-agenda items that they'd like to bring up at this time? Or any of our staff have any non-agenda items that they'd like to bring forward at this time? All right. Our next meeting is June 26th. I thank you for your time. We stand adjourned.